In today's video, I'm going to talk about this new lens here from 7artisans, the 10mm f2.8, which is a budget-friendly lens. I will talk about it a little bit later on in this video. And of course, I will compare it somehow to this 11mm f1.8, the Sony lens. These two lenses are for APS-C cameras. Let us start. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to introduce you to this new lens from 7artisans, the 10mm f2.8 autofocus lens. They made it for the Fuji X mount as well as for the Sony APS-C E mount. So I have the Sony version here, and of course I have the 11mm 1.8 from Sony. So I'm going to make like maybe a spec comparisons first, and then I'm going out to test this lens and give you my thoughts about it. The first thing that I'm going to talk about in this video is the form factor. These two lenses are so compact, whether the 7artisans or the Sony, but you can see that the 7artisans is a little bit bigger, a little bit taller. Let's weigh them. So I removed the front cap and the back cap. The 7artisans weighs around 248 grams, as you can see here, while the Sony, without the caps as well, weighs 193 grams. So the Sony is lighter, it is more compact, the aperture is wider, 1.8 compared to 2.8 on this one. They both are autofocus lenses, and yeah, but there is a huge difference in terms of price, because the 7artisans is about $200 or a little bit less, and you can get $10 discount with my affiliate link down below, while with this Sony you will pay around $500. So the price is significantly higher for the Sony, which is normal because this is a third-party lens compared to this Sony main lens or Sony native lens. So there is quite some differences in terms of size, but also in terms of price. And speaking of the weight, I know that this 7artisans is a little bit heavier than the Sony, but on the other side it is made from metal, just hear that, while on the Sony it is plastic. Of course this is a very rugged plastic, but I feel that the 7artisans is more durable just because it is built from metal, and this is something that I like in these companies. They are making very good lenses for our cameras. If we look on the back side of the lenses, we can see that we have metallic mounts on both of them, but on the 7artisans we have also a USB-C port here for the firmware updates. They both have this rubber gasket here for weather sealing, so both of these lenses are weather sealed, which is very interesting for this price range, less than $200. Of course we have less depth of field because f2.8 compared to f1.8, we have less light coming to the sensor with the 7artisans, but this is not of a big deal if you are vlogging. Mainly I use variable ND filters when I'm shooting, when I'm vlogging outdoors with these kind of lenses. So this is my opinion. On the Sony lens you can use 55mm filters, while on this 7artisans you can use 62mm filters. So this is not of a big deal. Once again, every lens has its own dimensions, its own form factor, but we can see that these are quite similar. The autofocus ring on the 7artisan is quite smooth. I didn't have issues with it, and even though we have autofocus on this lens and we can use it to vlog with, but you can also use it as a landscape photography lens, because at 10mm on an APS-C it's equivalent to around 15mm, and this focal length is amazing for wide landscapes and these kind of scenarios. And not to forget that none of these two lenses have the optical image stabilization. So if you'd like to stabilize your footage, you are obliged to use the IBIS of your camera and the digital stabilization of your camera, whether you are shooting on Sony or on Fuji cameras. Now I have the Sony 11mm on my Sony ZV-E1. I know that this lens is APS-C and the camera is a full frame camera, but I just want to show you something. When I'm trying to make my focus on the element far in the distance there and on the closest one here in the front, on the front side, I don't hear the autofocus motors of this lens on this camera. While if I put the 7artisans lens on the same camera, you will hear it. I don't know if you can hear it. But I definitely can hear it when it's moving from the front element to the back element. And is it annoying? I don't think so. Even if you are vlogging, basically you will have a wireless microphone and you will not pick the noise of this lens. But it's not so noisy, but it is there. Let me just take it close to my microphone here. I don't know if you can hear it. You can definitely hear it actually if you have it in your hand, but it's not so loud, it's not so noisy. So even if you are vlogging with it, it won't matter. So basically this lens, you can use it to vlog, and also you can use it mainly for photography and landscape photography and wide angle photography. So let's go outside and test it on a vlog scenario. So now I'm using this lens in a vlogging scenario. I have, let me show you, my variable ND filter from Canned F Concept on top of it, and I'm going deep there in the garden, and I can see that the square of the autofocus is always on my eye, which is very nice for this price. Let me just take, as you can see, this is the 7artisans on the Sony a6700, and I have my DJI mic on top, and I have it here, as you can see. You can hear it moving well. You can hear the autofocus here when I'm turning the camera. So basically this lens can be used easily as a vlogging lens for your APS-C camera, whether Sony or Fuji, and of course you can use it to take some wide landscapes and wide photography, wide lens photography. So it looks nice, the colors looks cool. Let's see if I'm here with the sun behind. And now I'm using this camera, the a6700. It was a bit complicated to take it out of the rig in my studio because last time I used the Sony ZV-E1 and I had to crop in the image in order to get the APS-C, but I don't know, I didn't feel that the stabilization was good when I was using this lens on the ZV-E1, although I was in the dynamic active stabilization. But here on the screen, at least, it feels smoother. Maybe there's something just tweaked for the APS-C cameras. I'm not sure about it. So let's go back inside because it's cold, even though we have some sun, but it's cold. So I took this camera out to make a vlog test with it, and now I'm still using it here in the studio, but of course without the ND filter. I have it set to 4K 25 frames per second, white balance 6300, exactly like that one. There I have an aperture f1.2, here I have an aperture f2.8. That's why I have the ISO cranked up to 500 now. Let me take it up a little bit more. 640, 800. So this one looks nice. Even with my hat on, it is still detecting the eyes. We don't have the same shallow depth of field that I had before, of course. Now I'm at maybe 25 centimeters or less, and we still have the autofocus. Now it started losing me. Now I'm at about maybe 15 to 20 centimeters, and you can hear now the motors. But at this distance the autofocus is quite nice. So that was my test on this 7artisans 10mm f2.8, and I can say that this lens is quite interesting for all of those who like to start in content creation, in vlogging, and making these kind of videos with an APS-C camera, whether a Sony or a Fuji, because once again you can find this lens for both Fuji X mount and the Sony APS-C E mount. It costs less than $200 and you can get $10 discount if you use the affiliate link down below in the discount code down below in the description box. So is it a professional camera? Am I going to rely on for my professional shoots? I doubt, for many reasons, because I have the Sony. It's an 11mm. It's a little bit tighter, but like 1 point something degrees, so you will not feel the difference. The aperture is wider on this one, which is more interesting for me for the shallow depth of field that I search for in my shoots. But at the same time, this one is more expensive. So with the price of this one, you can get this lens here and much more stuff. Keep that in mind if you are starting. You don't need the high-end gear or the most expensive lens to start with. You only need something that you are comfortable with, that will not break the bank, and that will deliver good image quality. This one looks really nice. What do you think? Let me know down below, and thank you for watching. Ciao for now.